It's a sad fact. Sometimes game trailers are better than the actual games. And this time in the bonus round, we're looking at the anatomy of a video game trailer. What happens when you have to make a trailer for a bad game?
Again, if you're talking about 90 seconds or a minute trailer, there's a lot of ways to work around that.
And how long does it take to produce a blockbuster piece like Call of Duty 4?
For me, it's like less is more, right? It's like if the game's not ready, don't put a trailer out. Let's just start there.
Find out in the show that's more steak than sizzle, the bonus round. Hey, welcome back to the bonus round here on Game Trailers, and this time we're talking about something you know and love, video game trailers. And joining me to talk about the anatomy of a game trailer is Tabitha Hayes from Activision, Rob Troy from the Ant Farm, and Jim Botko from Hammer Creative. Now, when we last left off, we were talking about the Call of Duty campaign and how many trailers you create. Tabitha, walk us through sort of the roadmap for how you reveal information about a game, because it's not like you just throw out 2 hours of gameplay footage when you reveal the game. It's a very sort of strategic campaign for a game, right?
Absolutely. I think for us early on, it was a really close integration between the Ant Farm and Infinity Ward and the brand and PR teams, kind of really understanding what is our product and what do we want to communicate to consumers, and then being really surgical about that information. We talked earlier about kind of less is more. I think there were some things that we may have held back, in retrospect, but I think for us, it was about establishing the new setting. Clearly, it was establishing, for us, must-have game. And so we came together with a kind of a creative execution that we wanted people to take notice. And so the execution was to take notice. The visuals that we were delivering were showing the new direction for the franchise. We also had to be careful about balancing different things. So we took a lot of things into consideration for the reveal. I think from there, our second video was the Perks trailer. And that beat was really coordinated with revealing multiplayer. So, of course, competitive multiplayer, huge for Call of Duty 4, millions of people playing a day. For us, we wanted to be really in sync with the PR messaging and what we were revealing to the press. And so we put together a video specifically to communicate new, better, different competitive multiplayer, which was Perks, which we thought was really sexy, new and innovative for the market. And then from there, I skipped one, E3, right? So we did E3.
Massive E3 trailer.
I skipped one.
So we did going off and everything.
So reveal was about take notice, right, and getting people's attention. E3 was about we're bringing the goods, and what we did at E3, everything was really well coordinated and well thought out. What we showed, the video.
And also you have sort of an embarrassment of riches with a game like Call of Duty 4 because there's so many great levels. So I think, with some games, I'm sure, Rob, you have sort of like one level that looks good and the rest aren't that great, and it's like you don't have as much to work with, right? You can only work with the clay you're given, right?
No, it's true. And I mean, it is unusual to have something that's so polished and so finished from an art asset standpoint and gameplay standpoint that early on. I mean, you're right. Most games, typically speaking, you'll see maybe one or two levels. A lot of times there'll be prototype levels that the developer has tried to polish off as much as they can. But the fact of the matter is, I mean, they have a team. They've got a whole they've got how many years or months or whatever it is that they're working on the game. They have a finite amount of time, and they're going to have to do things in certain stages. So yeah, typically when you're working on it, you have maybe one or two areas that are done, and you try and very much tiptoe around shooting-wise the other areas, because the fact of the matter is, if you look down the street, there's nothing there right now. So you want to make sure that you're careful about that.
I think we were in that situation there for some things, and I think it's where you prioritize video. So in my opinion, video is the most important thing that I'm going to do in a campaign.
Right.
Because that really sets the stage. Absolutely. Exactly. And so for us, we
especially now it's something high def, and I mean, people
25 million downloads. I mean, that's what people are looking for, is what's the promise for the game and what's the game look like. And I think for us, we worked really closely with Infinity Ward to say, we need this, we need that. And the guys literally went in and made it happen. And I think that's an important message for developers and for brand people alike. It's like, if you have a vision that you need to execute on, you really have to get alignment from the development team that they're going to make some things happen in a schedule that you need them to deliver the best piece of footage. Otherwise, you're just cutting together what you've got.
So what happens, Jim, when it doesn't come together, or you have to make a trailer for a bad game?
Well, you can always find good parts of a game to put them together. I mean,
there's always something.
There's always something you do, and sometimes you might cover up with some graphics or create an original CG thing if you have to do that or something. But again, if you're talking about a 90 seconds or a minute trailer, there's a lot of ways to work
Do
around
quick
that.
cuts, put a little rock track
right.
in there.
If you have a 10-hour game, you can find 35 seconds of gameplay, put some graphics in, snazz up some music, and you can make it look as good as you can. And that's our job, to take whatever kind of game it is. We don't always work on Assassin's Creed and Simpsons and Call of Duty. Sometimes we don't, but we do. Those games are kind of harder in a way. We almost have to like a little extra because
there's a lot of expectations.
there's
are so
expectation,
high, right?
and we have pride to everything we do. We want to do good. We want to make it cool and make the client happy.